Hi, Taylor, and welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate the time, and especially the time difference. So it is Sunday afternoon for you. So thank you so much for being here to chat with me. I would love to hear a little bit about your background as a practitioner. Who do you help in your clinic?
Yeah, so I'm an orthopedic massage therapist. So I treat chronic pain, injuries, postural deviations, that sort of thing. My niche is busy moms who are active and who want to take charge of their health, but I really see a whole variety of people. I think my youngest client is 13 and my oldest is 82. So the whole gambit in there.
That's beautiful. So Taylor, where were you in your business before you started having coaching? And so what, and I guess what made you decide to want to start having coaching?
Yeah, I was really struggling. I was seeing about 10 clients a week. And that was really just enough to pay the bills, not to save money or, to buy myself a latte or whatever. And so I started coaching because I realized I had no idea how to do any sort of marketing. My strategy was hope, which I learned really quickly that's not a good strategy. That's not a strategy at all, actually. So yeah, that's why I started because I knew that I didn't know things. So I needed that help.
Yeah, nice. And so what was, I guess, the biggest challenge you saw in your business in terms of marketing? Like, what was it that marketing is a big bucket? So what was it specifically that you're like, was it everything, or was there something in particular you're like, I just have no idea?
Yeah, like I didn't even have a sign on the door. Like there was no way anyone could have known that I existed apart from word of mouth, and I wasn't like running a referral program or anything. It was pretty barren in the marketing department.
And how long have you been in the industry for, Taylor?
I'm just coming up on my third year of practice.
Yeah, nice.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And so what's been your biggest win so far?
Being fully booked. Yeah. So my aim was 16 clients a week and now I'm sitting around 18, so higher than my aim. And I'm busy enough to actually hire a contractor. He starts in August.
That's so exciting. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love it. And so let's talk about what were some of the things you put in place. So when you joined the program and started to look at marketing, what were some of the things that you put in place first of all?
Yeah. So I started, the first thing was a Facebook page for my business. And then I also started an Instagram page maybe a couple months after I started the program. So first thing was just posting daily and creating content that people could find valuable. And after I did that, I tried out a variety of different Facebook ads. I tried Google ads. I tried the Give to Get program, maybe like 10 to 12 different marketing strategies before I landed on one that actually worked for me.
Yeah, nice. And that is, I think that is a really good point that there's never just one way to market. There's actually many different ways and testing and measuring to be able to go, this is working for me. It's not working for me. It's kind of working for me. What has the process of feedback been like in that journey of figuring out what works for you?
From you guys or in oh yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I don't even know how many times I messaged you guys with like specific ads asking how I can tweak them. I know James even jumped on a call with me to set up my Google business profile just so I could get found on Google. Had like a ton of issues with that. So we were in like constant communication over that. And then once I actually found an ad that worked, creating what's the word I want to use? Like creating a recording thing so I could see how much was my ad costing me, how much was each client costing me, how many clients was I getting from that ad. So I guess that moves in more into the mechanics of things, but it was so helpful to know that like, okay, I can just turn this ad on. I know it's going to cost approximately $15 to get a client. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, because when you
Mhm.
start to look at the lifetime value of a client as opposed to just getting clients this week and looking, oh, you can't even buy a latte, to then being able to go, okay, well, I can look at the cost of acquisition, and be able to test and measure is huge because often we have preconceived ideas, and preconceived ideas might be, oh, well, I put out a Facebook ad and I didn't get any clients, so therefore Facebook sucks. Or I've tried to set up my Google thing and it didn't work, so therefore Google sucks. And not that that was your experience. However, if we don't test and measure, maybe it was, but it's not what we heard. As she's smiling. When we test and measure, it allows us to be able to see what part of this ad is successful, what part of this ad is successful, and knowing that allows you to then replicate those results consistently. Um,
Mhm.
and so let's talk a bit about what were some of the biggest challenges that you have had in your business and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think, well, the one that I kind of worked on the first 6 months of the program was just getting clients in the door. And I think with that, before I got them in the door, there was the challenge of just a lack of confidence. Um, because when you're only seeing 10 clients a week, it kind of felt like, oh, I must be a bad practitioner. But I'm not a bad practitioner. I just wasn't doing any marketing. So that was a big challenge getting full. And then the other one would be just setting up the financial side of things. I like didn't even know what the word turnover meant before I started the program. And now I have like my champagne money system. I've paid off like 50% of my student debt since February. It's just like you know exactly where your money is going. And I can do my end of month accounting without feeling stressed, which is so nice. So kind of both the getting fully booked and just sorting out the financial aspect of business has been huge.
Yeah, that's massive. And to be able to make lots of money, woohoo, because that's what extra clients will do, but then know
Mhm.
what to do with it is what is so incredibly powerful. And it does build confidence because it's rather than just accidental success or accidental failure. Now I know what I'm doing. I know how to get clients in the door. I know what to do with those clients when they come in. I know how to help them really well, and I know what to do with the money they give me when they walk out the door, which is amazing. That's huge. So, what has been your experience? It's a bigger program. So this is a six-figure therapist program that you've been part of. What has been your experience with the program?
It's been really good. I think one of the things I like the most is the external accountability because I am a massive procrastinator. So having like steps to success every week, having weekly base camps, having you guys check in if kind of zoned out for a minute there, kind of just keeps me on track. Oh, and the calibration parties are huge to plan the next month ahead so that I always know what I'm doing. So that's been part of it. The other part is just like the huge amount of support. I feel like no question is too small, nothing's too silly. And I think that you guys have shown me that, but I also see that with other people in the program. When they ask questions, there's always a response. And so that makes me feel comfortable to know that wherever I'm at, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And look, to be fair, what have you found most challenging in the coaching process? It's not always exciting and wonderful and, roses,
Mhm.
ice cream. So what have been some of the
Yeah.
more challenging things that you've found in the coaching process?
I think addressing my mindset was a big one. Um, seeing like going from seeing myself as a bit of a failure in terms of not able to get clients in, I'm doubting myself whether I'm actually helping anybody at all, and working through that and not shying away from it, being accountable to myself that I'm in this position because of me and I can get myself out of this position. Um, it was a bit of a painful wake up call, but it was a good one because I feel a lot more agency and autonomy in my own business instead of just these things are happening and I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's a huge result in relation to mindset to be able to realize what we actually have control over and to not
Mhm.
be just at the mercy of our business, or just to feel like I'm constantly reacting or I'm constantly putting out fires, or I'm just kind of drifting along. To be able to take decisive action in one direction and to know how and why and what it is that you're doing and to be able to consistently do that, that's what actually creates results over time. Yeah.
Mhm. For
So, what
sure.
have been some of your biggest results when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, so since February, I've had 35 new clients, and 20 of them have become, well, I guess we don't know if they're lifelong clients, but they've become repeat clients since February. And that's moved my monthly turnover from about 5K to 8 to 9K, depending on the month. Um, and it's nice now, people actually just find me on Google. Like I don't even have to do an ad. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest change. Whereas before, I hardly had any new clients, maybe one every 3 months. So big difference.
That's
Mhm.
massive. And what has it been like working with coaches in another country? Like obviously we're in Australia, you're in Canada. What has been your experience of that been like? The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, the accent is amazing.
Thank
I
you.
love it. The only thing that's difficult is that when we start retreats at like 4 or 5 p.m. my time, and I usually go to bed around 9, so having them go till 1 a.m., I have to tap out. But aside from that, it's been really good, and like you guys are very good at noting what's Australian and what's kind of outside of your scope of knowledge, and bringing in people who can kind of speak to that.
Yeah, that's great. And we've intentionally put together, based on feedback from you guys in our North American contingent, to have a North American call. So we do that once a month. And we've been running those for the last quarter. How have you found those, being able to connect with people who are probably speaking a similar language? And like, what's been your experience with those calls?
I love them. Yeah, I think because it's such a small group too, um, I get a lot of information out of them, and it's nice to kind of have it a little bit more conversational, and get everyone's input in a little bit. And yeah, just to know that if I do have a North American specific question, I can bring that to the table.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. And so, what have been some of your big results in relation to mechanics in your business?
Yeah, so like I said, I've got my champagne money system set up, which is great. And then the other thing is I've created this massive document of all the procedures that I'd have to do in kind of the day to day so that I can pass that off to my contractor when he starts, which is just a huge stress relief, really, because I've just been compiling it over the last 6 months of things that I know how to do because I know how to do them, but maybe the next person coming in doesn't know how to do them. So just being able to think about all those things prior to hiring someone so that it's a bit more of a seamless process.
Nice. And
Mhm.
how are you feeling going into your first hire?
Um, I mean, I'm nervous for sure, but it's like an excited kind of nervous, and I know that like I've got the backing of the coaching if something doesn't go as I'm hoping it will go. But having the information in the portal of like these are, I think it's like the first 6 weeks of steps of what to do when someone's onboarding is super helpful because I can just stick to them. And if, like I said, things aren't progressing the way I think, then I know I can come and ask questions. So yeah, nervous, but like a good kind of nervous.
That's awesome. That's exactly as it should be. If it was all just cruisy and easy, it means you're not outside your comfort zone. But to be able to have, like you said, the backing of someone to know if it's, I've got a plan of how I think it will work, and if it doesn't, I've got people I can check in with. Um, that's an awesome strategy to have. And as you said, in contrast to wishing, wanting, hoping, completely different because there's so much more certainty that you've got on this is the plan I have, and this is the people I'll check in with if the plan doesn't work,
Mhm.
or parts of the plan don't. And that's absolutely massive, especially when you're looking at your first hire. And it won't just be your first or your last hire will be your first, but it won't be your last hire. Looking at how else you can grow your team, and then marketing that person, and all of a sudden, all the things that you've learned, it's like reiterating them on the next level. Because you're then bringing in other people into the mix as well. It's phenomenal, and there's such a great foundation there that you've been building over time. Um,
Mhm.
so, what is your massive vision for the next 12 months?
Yeah, so obviously hiring my contractor, and then I want to rent out the space the extra hours just to have a little bit of help in the income department. Our rent here in the city is so high, it's ridiculous. Um, but it's fine, especially if I get another renter, and it should help quite a bit. And then the other thing is I rent a room out of a gym. That's where I run my clinic, and it's very community based. So I'd like to be able to do some sort of gym community event. I'm not really sure what that looks like yet, but that's kind of the vision for the next year.
Yeah, so exciting. So exciting. So what would you say, what would be the number one piece of advice to someone out there right now who might have been in a similar place to where you were? What would it be in terms of what they need to put in place for their business?
Um, Oh, that's a really good question. I'm totally blanking, but I think the first thing is just to sort out your finances because it takes off so much stress. If you don't know how much money you're making, how much you're paying yourself, how much you're putting away for taxes and operating expenses, when those bills come, it can just like shoot your cortisol right to the sky. So I think setting up a system that works for you with your money so you know exactly where it's going to is like super important. And the other thing is just ask for help. Like if you don't know how to do something, don't waste your time like panicking in your mind. Just go on the internet, ask for help, or find somebody like a coach who can help you.
And if
Mhm.
somebody was thinking about joining Six Figure, they were listening to this and going, I think I'm ready. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So if you're ready to do that and to take small steps, or big steps, but it can be small too, then I would say it's definitely worth it. If you're kind of sitting on the fence about whether you want to run a business or not, I would say maybe like wait and see what you actually want. Because when you're in it, it's a lot of work and it's demanding and it's really amazing, but it is hard. So any business though you run is hard, and it's made a lot easier with coaches for sure.
Yeah, I think that is so incredibly true and accurate and fair to say. A lot of people are often surprised by the amount of work that they have to do when they step into coaching because it's like, oh, good, I've got a coach now. They'll do all the work for me and it'll be easy. And it's like, actually, no, it doesn't work like that. How it works is that we give you all the tools you need to be able to do the things in your business yourself. And there's actually often some shock that goes into the first month because people are a bit like, oh, that's so much. And then you look, months later at what you're setting up because what we're essentially setting up is the foundations for the next 5 to 10 years. And thinking about, say, the champagne money system for you, the difference between knowing exactly what to do with your money now and for the next 5 to 10 years, where that will take you and that journey. It's like it is worth all the work to set that up and to move through the mindset and how many bank accounts and you've got to like all those things. It's not just for the here and now. And I think that's the big difference. And that's why it's a little bit overwhelming because often as practitioners, we are working week to week. We're working I just need money this week. I need to pay this bill, so I just need a client. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, 5 to 10 years. It's like my brain can't even think about 5 to 10 years. I just need to make money this week. And having a transformation of our thinking, really transforming the way that we consider our business and thinking about lifetime value of clients and taking the intensity away from right here to out there. It is a lot of work, and the purpose is to allow for now an ease of working to make that whole process so much easier for clients to come in and then to know what to do with the money once they've come through. Yeah.
Mhm.
Taylor, thank you so much for your time for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure that those listening will have gotten a lot out of this as well. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Take care.